flood at Noah's time. Can you read Matthew chapter 24, verse 37 to 39?
But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be.
Okay. Son of Man is Jesus. I explained that to you. Yes? As the days of Noah were, so the coming of the Son of Man be. That is why it is important for us to know about the days of Noah, because Jesus tells us to know about the coming of the Son of Man. Now, there are people who think, listen very carefully, I'm going to cover this, that the rapture is automatic. But the Lord said, remember Lot's wife. What did Lot's wife do? Look back. That is why you call to be separate from the world. What happened to the angel when the angels came to Lot? He said, do you have anybody that you want to get out? Do you understand? And Lot tried to warn many people, but no one listened. Anyone with an ear to listen would have gotten out and be saved. But remember Lot's wife. Do you understand? Don't be so held back by the world that you miss the rapture. Because Jesus himself said, when I come back, will I find what? Faith. It's not the knowledge. Knowledge just puffs you up. Do you understand? Anyway, I'll be getting into this much deeper, but here, can you continue reading in verse 38, Danny? Verse 38, Matthew 24:38.
As in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark.
That means what? That everything was normal. The sun and the moon and the stars, they were all there. Everything was normal, yes? The judgment and the wrath of God had not happened yet. Do you understand? See, it could have been the wrath of Satan. That doesn't cause all the stars to diminish or the sun to diminish. That could have been there. Do you understand? But here we know the wrath of God has not happened. Do you understand? Am I clear on what I say? Yes? I'm going much deeper than I planned to, but continue reading, yes? Verse 39.
And did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be.
Yes. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. When the Son of Man comes again, in Noah's time there was a flood. But when the Son of Man comes again, will there be a flood or will there be fire? According to the word of God, there will be fire. He'll be judged by fire. Yes? But let's study a little bit about this time. So, can you read Genesis 6:2?
That the sons of God saw the daughters of man, and they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose.
Yes, that's fine. I've explained who the sons of God are and who the daughters of men are in the orientation program. And if you want to study more, you should know that by now. Yeah. Anyway, here the sons of God are angels, the watchers. They took the daughters of men, whomever they took. And read Genesis 6:4. You read it too, yeah?
There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown.
Yes. So the men of renown or the giants were caused when the sons of God came on the daughters of men. Do you understand? And these giants were wicked in the sight of God, and God caused the flood. And these giants caused the flood. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes? Read Genesis 6, 5 and 6 again. 5 and 6.
Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thought of his heart was only evil continually.
Yes, and the Lord was sorry. Yes? Basically, the cause of the flood was this mixture or this hybrid. What was the reason for this to happen? If you go back to Genesis 3:15, can you read that? Genesis 3:15.
And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed.
Yes.
He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his head.
So Satan was trying to mess up the seed of man. Mary was a virgin through whom Christ was born. Yes? Had he been successful, Satan been successful, there would not have been a virgin or Mary in that position. There would not have been someone left for the Christ to come. So this was Satan's program. Do you understand? And so this then was found by God to be wicked. And God caused a flood. Yes? And can you read Genesis 7:23?
So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, both man and cattle, creeping thing and bird of the air. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive.
So the flood was what? 100% effective. Do you understand? God killed everybody. Yes? Except those who were in the ark. Am I clear? Or is the word clear? Yes? So it looked like everything is good. Now it's human beings are starting over again. Yeah, look like the movie has a happy ending. Yes, but that is not the case. Let's go back to Genesis 6:4.
There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward.
There were giants in the earth in those days, that is before the flood, and also afterwards. So, obviously, if the flood was successful, then what happened? Well, one is that there were some other angels that could have done the same thing, but we find those angels who before the flood were kept in chains in Tartarus. We find that in Jude. Could man have caused this knowledge to increase? We don't know yet. Bible is not very clear right now. Yes, we're not going to look into that. Yes, but Jesus did warn us that it will be like the days of Noah. Do you understand? Yes? Now, read Genesis 9, 12 and 13.
And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you, for perpetual generations.
Okay.
I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth."
We know that all the living creatures died before the flood, and the living creatures in the ark is whom God had a covenant with. Do you understand? And what was that covenant? What was the covenant? Rainbow. Do you understand? Now, if you see the 7 colors of the rainbow, Is that good or bad? No, nowadays it's the sign of pride, gay pride or whatever. So woe to that, those who call good, who make good into bad, yes? Or who call bad good, yes? Do you understand? Gay pride is not a covenant with God, yes? So the rainbow is a covenant that God had made, yes? Every time he thinks of judging the world because of wickedness of man, he sees the rainbow and does, okay, I made a covenant with them. What's the difference between a covenant and a testament? A covenant is basically an agreement. I can make a covenant with you. A testament is equal to a will. Do you understand? For a testament to be executed, the person has to die. Do you understand? Yeah? That's why we have the New Testament. But in the New Testament, there is a covenant. Am I clear on what I said? Yes? And this covenant stops God from flooding the earth. Yes? Am I right? Yes? But does it stop God from fire? Do you understand? In 2 Peter 3:7 it says, we are now preserved by the same word, are reserved for fire until the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Do you understand? That is in 2 Peter 3:7. Yeah, I've covered this. Yes, so do you understand? So there is going to be a judgment by fire. So what do we learn? What do we have to learn from the flood of Noah? There is going to be a judgment of fire, and there were Nephilim afterwards. And those that perished during the flood have now resurfaced as evil spirits or demons or whatever we call them, yeah? But we have absolute authority over them. They have a spirit that was created by God, not their spirit, but their fathers were created by God, yes? But when they were born, that spirit which is of the fathers, and they were born of the flesh, and different flesh of the mothers, do you understand? This hybrid spirit was detestable to God, and God could not accept it. Or it's not from God. They were basically bastardized spirits. They're looking for a body. And that's what we call an unclean spirit. Do you understand? And we are not called to be afraid of anything, actually, in that way. But we are definitely not an unclean spirit. So you're given authority to drive them out. Is that clear? What I'm trying to say is that all this still affects us and the world. Affects us because it's sin nature, which has been conquered by Jesus Christ. But this is what we find in the world, and we call to be separate from the world. The world gravitates towards that. And if we go towards that, Jesus is a warning for us. Remember Lot's wife. Don't look back. Never look back. Do you understand? Because Jesus said, when you put your hand on the plow, don't look back. And in Hebrews, we hear about those people, if they look back to the country they left, they would have had a chance to return to that. So never look back. Am I clear?